Hey everybody, Mark here. I hope everybody's doing well. Okay, so I said I would do a follow up on this Ghost Cat chassis after I completed the build, and I did complete the assembly. It was a little bit of a challenge, I won't lie, getting the brushes installed in this system, this hood system here. Was a little bit of a challenge. The brushes slide in from the sides, and under this orange cap is a spring that one side of the spring goes up against this post, and the other side there's a notch in the brush that the spring sits in and puts the tension on the brush to keep it up against the com. So this requires a little bit of work and adjustment, and I um I took this thing apart quite a few times before I actually had this working halfway decent. I actually accidentally bent one of the springs too, so I think my spring tension is a little bit compromised on the one side. I've since ordered some extra springs and end caps and brushes. I'm probably going to rebuild this electrical system once I get those extra parts, but I have the car running pretty good. All that said, one comment on the traction magnets, they slide in from the side and they're covered by the motor. So when the motor is in this car, you cannot get the traction magnets out. They don't have a clip like the Viper or even the Fusion has a similar type of clip that holds the magnets in. And I actually forgot to put the magnets in when I built the car and had it all running. I put it on the track and I'm like, wow, this car handles pretty bad. So it would help if you had traction magnets in the car. So yeah, this is basically what the springs look like that hold the brushes in. One side is a little bit longer than the other, and one side has kind of that step in it. This goes up against the brush, and this side goes on the up against the tab. And the brushes, where are the brushes? The brushes look like this. You can kind of see that they have a curve on the edge that wraps around the armature, and on the back side there's a little notch, so the spring goes into that notch. So getting the brushes tweaked, you got to kind of sand them down on all sides, and also kind of ream out the channel that where is that part? Ream out the channel. So this channel here, and that's the hanger. These two pieces go in here. Now, my kit, that all came pre-assembled. So the channel that the brushes, I guess if you want to call it a barrel, kind of like a brush barrel, but it's more of an like rectangle shape. So I reamed that out as well. Kind of followed the directions of the build video that Roger has up on YouTube. So those springs sit over that post right here, and that cap, orange cap, goes on that. This post here is the other side that the spring wraps around, and there's 3 notches in this post where you could set the height of the spring, and then the brush is kind of right in there, and the other side of the spring sits in that slot in the brush. So that was the hardest part, definitely getting those brushes tweaked. But the kit is relatively expensive. I did the Spec Racer kit, which was $110. As a comparison, and I had to assemble the whole thing. It came completely apart. You can get a whole Spec Racer from Wizard already built for about that same price. So it'd be nice to see if maybe he'll start offering completely built cars for you if you don't want to have to build it yourself. But that's some of the details on the electrical system on this car, and you can see it's very similar to, this is hopefully you can see that's a Wizard Fusion with their hood system, and it's very similar to the Ghost Cat took a very similar design. So, and you can see the traction magnets in the Ghost Cat are pretty big, beefy magnets. They might even be a tiny bit bigger than what's in these Fusions, which are definitely bigger than a standard. Well, I have the max traction magnets, which are a little bit wider on the end on the Viper. So these are my, well, this is my Spec Racer Fusion. Wizard makes an end bell system as well as the hood type system like what's on the Ghost Cat. So I thought I would compare this Ghost Cat to my Viper Spec Racer and my Fusion Spec Racer. These are all Hopper approved and built for spec racing. Spec racing is a class that you can race that has a similar motor magnet, like a level 4 type of magnet on the Viper. It's their Pro 4. Fusion has their level 4 type magnet, and these are the comparable magnets in the Ghost Cat. I thought I would show you guys on the downforce meter. The Ghost Cat definitely comes in with the highest downforce, sitting at over 160, 163 on the downforce. The Fusion is next, pretty close with 150, yeah, like a 153. And then the Viper with the max traction magnets is coming in at like a 143. So they're almost 10 apart, each of them. So not too far off, but definitely the Ghost Cat has the highest downforce. My Ghost Cat and Fusion are using the same purple tires from RPM. The Viper has stiff albino tires from Viper. These all have the same size front tires on them, which I believe is a 326 front tire. So, they all have 723 gearing. But I thought I would show you how they're looking on the dyno. This is the Ghost Cat. It runs pretty smooth. And it gets, as you let it run, it gets up into the almost 3.7 I've had it running at. It's around 3.6 right now. It's starting to go up a little bit. Definitely a lot better than when I first built this, because one of the springs kind of wasn't being held in. The brush wasn't being held in right. It was barely running in the 2s when I first built this car. I'll show you the Viper next. This Viper, for some reason, right now is not running. It's not running so great. This car, I don't know if it needs oil or what's going on with it. Maybe the pickup shoes, but this thing is usually closer to 4. So I'm not sure. Gonna have to investigate that. Yeah, it's running a little bit lower than it usually does. This is the Fusion. Hello? Hello? What's going on here? So Fusion's up, getting closer to 4. So, you know, similar numbers in the mid to upper 3s. I'd like to see if I can get this closer to the 4s as well. This is usually closer to the 4, the Viper. I'm not sure what's going on with that car. Just as a comparison, this is the hood system Fusion. This car runs pretty strong too, up in the high 3s. All right, so I thought I thought I would go ahead and pause the camera and set it up over at the track, and we'll do some laps so you can kind of see how this Ghost Cat compares to my other spec racer class cars, the Viper and the Viper and the Fusion, and then we'll compare it to the Ghost Cat. Now again, this car, I did break it in on the dyno. I ran it for about almost probably 45 minutes at the break-in setting, but it's still, you know, it's still a brand new assembly, so it probably has more breaking in to do. I've noticed the times, or as I run it around the track, it does seem to be getting faster. So, all right, I'm going to pause the camera and we'll get it set up over at the track. Be right back. All right, we're set up at the track. I'm going to run the Ghost Cat first. I'll do about, I don't know, 12 laps maybe on each one, and we'll compare the best lap time and the median lap time. So, here we go. Go! So that was 12 laps. We had one crash. I mean, I just had that full throttle. It just doesn't feel like it has the top end of my Viper or my Fusion. But we did a best lap time of 2.629, which is a decent lap, and a median time of 2.86 seconds. So next I will run the Viper and see how it does. Let me reset the best lap time here. All right. Pretend you didn't see that. Took that turn way too soon. Alright, so that was 12 laps, including flying off the table. We did a 2.62, a 2.623 best lap, and a 2.72 median lap. So a little bit better than the Ghost Cat. And Woody will run the Wizard Fusion last. I'll try and keep the car on the table this time. Alright, that was 12 laps. We had a crash on that last lap, but 2.540 best lap and a 2.72 median lap, so even better with the Fusion. For me, the Fusion right now is my go-to chassis. It just has the best combination of handling and speed. And I like that it comes in the end bell system, which I'm used to working on. I can tune and tweak an end bell, the brushes in an end bell, you know, really well at this point. So I don't know if the Ghost Cat will ever go with an end bell type of system. Yeah, the Ghost Cat, you know, I think it needs a little more tweaking. I think I might need to play around with the tire sizes or the hub sizes. Feels like might be a little too low, at least on my track. It's just lagging a little bit behind the Viper and the Fusion as far as speed goes. It handles great, it sticks to the track. But yeah, that's it. Just thought I'd do a quick follow-up on the Ghost Cat and how it runs and the numbers it did on the dyno, and yeah, it was fun to build it. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments section. I hope everybody has a great holiday and a happy new year, and we'll talk with you guys soon. Thanks, guys.